Someone once told me, I just don't believe God would send you to hell for eating a ham sandwich. Hi, this is Barry Phillips with 10-Minute Torah, day number 5 of the Torah portion Shemini, which means 8th. And again, we started out this Torah series, this portion of the Torah series, talking about that which is from the realm beyond. There is something that is from the other realm, that is the spiritual realm, the realm above, that has indeed been placed into the physical realm, and that is the realm of the clean. When Yah created all things in Bereshit, or Genesis chapter number 1, he did so establishing boundaries. He divided that which was above from that which was beneath. Therefore, we have waters above and waters below or beneath. We have an understanding that the herb-bearing seed is for us, and that plants and vegetables that have their own seed, that seed should then replicate what it came from. In other words, you don't plant orange seeds and get lemons. That's just not supposed to be. We also have an understanding that there are heavenly lights that were created in the physical realm, the sun, the moon, the stars, but there's also a different light. And that light has been separated from the darkness, and the two are not supposed to mix. And then we have the animal kingdom that has been given to us, and there has always been an understanding of that which is clean and that which is unclean among them. We do not have to get to Leviticus or Vayikra chapter number 11, where we're going to read from in just a moment, to find out what's clean and unclean. Even Noah, when he went on the ark, he knew that there were certain animals that were clean and those that were unclean. So let's go to the book of Leviticus, Vayikra, chapter number 11, beginning with verse 1. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe and to Aaron, saying to them, Speak to the children of Israel, saying, These are the living creatures which you do eat among all the beasts that are on the earth. Whatever has a split hoof completely divided, chewing the cud, among the beasts that you do eat. And then he differentiates between those that have one characteristic, a split hoof, or the other, chewing the cud, but not both, that they are unclean. And then he begins to give us some understandings of the severity of these things. He says in verse number 8, Their flesh you do not eat, their carcasses you do not touch, they are unclean, they are tameh to you. And then he says in verse 12, All that have not fins or scales in the waters are an abomination to you. He also says in verse 20, All flying insects that creep on all fours is an abomination to you. He says in verse 24, And by these you are made unclean. Anyone touching the carcass of any of them is unclean. And anyone picking up part of the carcass of any of them has to wash his garments and shall be unclean until evening. Every beast that has a split hoof, not completely divided, nor does not chew the cud, is unclean. And anyone who touches their carcass is unclean. When we come down toward the end of the chapter, verse 44, For I am Yahweh your Elohim, and you shall set yourselves apart. And you shall be set apart, for I am set apart, and do not defile yourselves with any swarming creature, the one creeping on the earth, for I am Yahweh, who is bringing you up out of the land of Mitzrayim to be your Elohim, and you shall be set apart, for I am set apart. This is the Torah of the beasts and the birds and every living being, the creeping creature in the waters, and of every being that swarms on the earth. And finally, verse 47, to make a distinction between the unclean and the clean, between the living creature and that is eaten and the living creature that is not eaten. Does it really matter what we eat? Does y'all really pay attention to what part of the menu at a restaurant that we choose from? Is he concerned about GMOs? Is he concerned about hybrid plants? Is he concerned about spices and other natural, quote unquote, flavorings? If you buy a beef product, but it's wrapped in pork casing, does that count? We are to be set apart. And to be set apart means being set apart. If you are bathing and your whole body is dirty, and you wash most of it, but you failed to wash a certain part, maybe behind your neck or your ears, you wash everything but your feet, etc., are you clean? Are you clean enough that you would go before Yah and say, "Hark, I am clean. I have bathed. I've washed almost every part of me, but not all." We like to give ourselves the benefit of a doubt. We like to give ourselves an out. But Yah is looking for the set apart intentions of our heart. Let's look over in the book of 1 Thessalonians, chapter number 4. Let me read a little bit to you. Beginning with verse 1. "For the rest then, brothers, we beg you and call upon you in the Master Yeshua, that as you have received from us how you should walk, and to please Elohim, you should excel still more. For you know what commands we gave you through the Master Yeshua. For this is the desire of Elohim, your set apartness, that you should abstain from whoring, that each of you should know how to possess his own vessel in set apartness and respect, not in passion of lust, not like the nations who do not know Elohim." Verse 6, "Not to overstep and take advantage of his brother in this matter, because the Master," referencing Yeshua, "is the revenger, the avenger of all such, as we indeed said to you before and earnestly warn. For Elohim did not call us to uncleanness, but to set apartness. Therefore, he who rejects this does not reject man, but Elohim, who also gives us his set-apart spirit." To fudge on food, to skirt the issue, to justify ourselves, to say, well, I've given up most things, but there's something. For me personally, when we very, very first got started in this, I never thought I could give up pork products like bacon for breakfast or pepperoni on the pizza. I don't even miss those things anymore. Matter of fact, to smell some things cooking that I used to find appetizing actually turns my stomach. And the moment that I find that I have accidentally ingested something that is unclean, immediately this body will let me know, something's not right. The Spirit also ought to be able to say to us, something unclean has just entered the vessel, and therefore all systems are on attack. Defilement is in action, and we must curtail this. We must get this out. Rav Shaul says that Yeshua, when we violate one another in these matters, when we oppress one another in set apartness, when we ridicule someone for being set apart, when we try to entice someone to step out of their set apartness, Yeshua acts as an avenger of such a one. And Yah did not call us to uncleanness, he says, but to set apartness. We must be a set apart people. Without separation, there's no distinction. And without distinction, we're just like everybody else. Shabbat Shalom to you, to your family, to all who gather with you. If you gather by yourselves, may you find Yah's presence especially real this Shabbat. I am so proud of you, and I encourage you to meet. For those of you who meet singly or in a very small group, you are heroic in your spirit. May you find the Father's special blessings be upon you. Shabbat shalom to all. We'll see you again next week. Until then, shalom.